Welcome to the URUR. I am Jose. Today I talk to Anthony about True Detective Season 2, Episode 4. We talk about where the season might be going. Let's take a listen. I watched True Detective Episode 4.
Okay.
And... Okay, how do I start? How do I start this?
Oh, man, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing.
Man, I don't know. So, at the end of the episode,
Yeah.
I felt like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm like, first of all, they are police, okay?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And they go in there, and I feel like they're doing a routine operation. And I know something's going to go on. I know something's going to happen, right? Because it's the fourth fucking episode. But they fucking drop the ball and it becomes a Wild West shootout, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, everyone's dying left and right. He's kind of like, fuck you.
Yeah.
You two random pedestrian. It just, to me, it just became kind of like, it became like a video game, you know? And I felt like I was all these different characters and would go back between them and shooting people. And because especially when there's that one part in the guy where they're having this shootout, this exchange, and this guy in the green shirt just like says, fuck it, boom, boom, and it gets shot.
Yeah.
I'm like, who fucking does that? Like, that's stuff that you see in video games, you know? Like, the pedestrian, don't fucking shoot the guy. So then, of course, all three of them end up at the end, and
they're just looking at each other.
They look at each other, and they're just like, what have we done here? Oh, my Lord. And then you see all the cop cars come in, and...
Yeah. The thing is, I think you have a very good point. I think.
Please sell me, please.
See, the thing that I was getting from it is that they're so anxious to catch this person. Like they need this person. Like they want him so bad that they just completely threw out everything.
Okay.
Like protocols they threw out. I think that was the whole point of it. Is that they looked at each other and I think realized like this didn't need to happen.
Yeah.
Like. We could have avoided this completely.
Yeah.
And I think you were seeing that the entire time of the sequence of it going on from the beginning where the fire just comes out of the place.
Yeah.
Where you immediately get this sense of like this isn't right.
Well, yeah, when that guy comes out with that automatic, he's just mowing him down. It's kind of like that's the first moment you should have been like, okay, they know we're here. Let's kind of back off or something. I don't know, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and I think they jumped the gun so much.
Yeah.
That by the time that happened, they had to just keep on going. I really don't think they were expecting that to happen because I think the recon they did wasn't enough either. I wasn't like they didn't really show that they were too
prepared
or they knew what was going on. Really, I think they just thought that guy was in there and they could just kind of go in and take care of him. But yeah, I think the whole point of it was just to show how
unorganized and
how desperate they were. Yeah, how desperate they were to catch this person that they kind of weren't prepared at all. I thought it was cool. I thought it was a nice change of pace. We've been getting kind of like these slow going episodes so far, and I think that was a good like ramp up. I do think it's going to calm down and it's going to get back into the ramifications of everything that happened.
You can't wait for that bar scene.
Oh yeah, Vince Vaughn has no idea that the guy he was looking for
is just dead.
Is dead and murdered every cop. Vinci. They are all just gone. Like everybody is gone. All of the characters, all the side characters are gone. And the guy that I'm happy about the most is a dude that just got fucking dome rocked right at the beginning. That fat dude.
The guy that doesn't care.
The guy that just doesn't care. Has been trying to screw up everything. He just his brains all over the sidewalk. I was like, yes, finally, this guy's dead.
Or do you think that maybe it's just gonna hit a jet stream and it's gonna go full blast now that a lot of the filler is gone and it's just like, all right, let's just rock
Yeah,
and
it
roll.
could be. Maybe the Mexican gang or group or whatever, they think that Vince Vaughn is going after them, or that this is some kind of play, or how is it that this guy is dead and
Yeah.
my or the leader just got his teeth pulled out, or I don't know. There's a lot of different ways I could see it going, or see them trying to take it, but
Hopefully.
uh, honestly, I see it as them going into the building and finding something else that leads us onto another like side story or subplot or something like that, and kind of bringing it all together at the end.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna take a curve because they want to keep you interested and they want to keep you like on the edge of your seat and still have that sense of mystery. But I do think it'll probably veer off for a bit and then kind of come back to where it needs to be.
I just want the the guy with or the girl with the bird head to come back, or is that crow?
Yeah.
Crow head.
Yeah, as a crowhead, yeah.
Yeah, I want that person. I want more of that.
Yeah, I do too. I don't think they're going to be wearing a mask though. See, that's the sad part is that I
Yeah.
think the mask looks so good, looks so cool, but I don't think she or he. I think it's a she still. I'm calling it. You heard it here first, but
Yeah.
I think that they're not going to be wearing a mask anymore. And if it is, then it's going to be more of a subtle mask. I don't think this person's going to be running around with a bird mask unless they're capturing somebody. And maybe that's their kind of like calling card. But I think that was just for that moment. I don't
Yeah.
think they were going to see anything else of that. But yeah, I was curious to think of what you thought of Taylor Kitsch's character, Paulie.
Oh yeah. So now we know he's gay.
Well,
He's in the closet.
yeah, he's very deep in the closet.
He's deep in the closet. He thinks he can fix it by,
Mhm.
having this kid doing the right
Mhm.
thing. And that's
Changing it.
yeah, that was kind of awkward. Like, oh, I love you. I guess I love you too.
Yeah, and now we know why the pill at the beginning
Yeah.
was taken.
Yes.
It's pretty funny. Like
yeah.
it kind of went there, and I wasn't expecting it. I'm glad I didn't see two naked guys wake up next to each other, or some type of like weird
Well,
like intimate scene.
Well, it's not over.
Yeah, I mean it's not right.
No.
I don't know. I think he's pretty
He's
pretty angry about it.
He's setting himself a world of problems.
Yeah, he's definitely going down this road of being somebody that he's not, and I don't know. I think Colin Farrell's character tried to get him under control.
Oh
And
yeah, gave him some fatherly advice and tell him,
Yeah.
hey, drink another.
Mhm.
And I wrote a little blog about it.
Sure.
I'll put the link on the bottom of this video. Yeah, pretty much my blog states that I'm kind of done taking this series so serious.
Uh-huh.
Like, to me, it's become almost comical. The
Oh,
way,
really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
A lot of things to me kind of like make me kind of chuckle.
Mhm.
For instance, one of my problems with one of the scenes is the coffee scene.
Okay.
Maybe you can help me with that.
Uh,
I just thought it was just all cheesy. Like, I know it's a metaphor for something, but the whole
Oh, okay.
sugar and coffee, and I can
You're
tell
talking
it's-
about the sit down with Vince
yeah,
Vaughn. Yeah.
and I can tell that Vince Vaughn wants to pretty much tell this is I think it's a metaphor for their relationship, obviously,
Mhm.
but I don't know. I just thought it was just.
Are you
cheesy.
talking about the part where they're meeting and he's telling him he wants this guy dead, or are you talking about the part with the where he's meeting with the other like bosses?
Yeah, with the bosses, he puts a bunch of sugar in his coffee.
Yeah, and they tell him like
about the teeth and everything.
Yeah, rot your teeth, whatever. I don't know if that was a play on words to like kind of harken back to when he pulled that guy's teeth out.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of that's what I took it as when it happened, and him saying like
Right.
he's never had a fucking cavity. I think
mm-hmm.
was just him telling him that like it's not me that I'm worried about kind of thing, or
Yeah,
kind of thing. I don't know, but yeah, that was a little cliche. I don't I don't necessarily agree with the comical part. I think that there is still an aspect to the show that we haven't seen yet. I don't think it's nearly as developed or intriguing
Yeah.
as the first season, but
Yeah.
I think this one's definitely more of a slow burn.
Well,
I think there's more not to read into necessarily, but I think it is interesting in terms of we don't know where anything is going yet. That can be problematic, but at the time, for the time being, I'm still curious and I still want to watch the show and I'm still looking forward to seeing it. I haven't had a
mhm.
moment where I'm watching it and I'm not paying attention.
Yeah.
I'm interested in the characters and to see how they develop. I think I agree that
Fully invested.
necessarily I'm not totally invested in the characters just yet, and that's a problem because I
Yeah.
was immediately invested before.
Yeah.
But I think that the writer is trying to do something different, and
Yes.
it's nothing like the first season, and I
No, it
think that's a
isn't.
good thing
Not at all.
because it shouldn't try to be. And I think he's taking chances, and I like where he's going with it. I hope that it all comes together at the end, and I'm not still left not knowing what I need to, because right now it's cool. But if I were to be getting to episode 7 or at the end of the season finale and still feeling the same way, then that's when I'll agree with you and say that
Yeah.
this season didn't really do it for me. But I'm still giving it that chance.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still gonna watch the episodes. Don't get me wrong. It's just
Mhm.
I know that the eagerness to watch these new episodes is
It's
not
waning.
as high as it was with the first one. The first one, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I couldn't wait to the next episode. And the one thing that I did think of today, I was thinking about it, was he is doing something different. The
Mhm.
only thing I could think about the only thing I can think about, what am I trying to say? The only thing, oh, fuck, the only thing I can think that he may be trying to do is trying to make this big giant allegory. That's
Mhm.
the only thing where each character represents something,
Yeah.
and the police department represents maybe the way the government operates. I don't know, but
Mhm.
each of them represents something, and I don't quite know exactly what each person would be right now. But if that was the case, I could understand. I could understand why he had the first episode,
Mhm.
because you could go rewatch it knowing this information and then break down, oh, okay, I understand why she represents the new feminism in the modern world. Oh, I can understand why he represents the old style of business and what,
Mhm.
how people used to conduct themselves and how they're trying to struggle in the modern times. It's just, I'm just throwing shit out there, but I don't quite know yet. I have to watch more of this
Mhm.
season to know exactly what's going on. And I thought about it. I would need to go rewatch each episode and pay attention closely to how these characters react with each other, and
Yeah.
also the stuff that they do that we don't really catch right now. But I'm sure Colin Farrell's character Velcoro has things that he tends to always do, like his personality wise,
Yeah.
that will lead you to understand what he may represent. You know?
Yeah, and I want to make some quick little tidbits to see what you think about it.
All right.
I was I was thinking about what you said when you were like about what you just said, and it kind of occurs to me that like the I don't know if this season is so much about the murder mysteries or
Mm-hmm.
the the legality of anything that's going on.
No.
I think it might be more of a character study and
Exactly.
more
Yeah.
so about these people because there's a lot of things that they hinted at that we haven't seen yet. Like Ani, I believe that's her name, Rachel McAdams'
Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
She had that whole thing about the knife. Now she carries knives with her,
Exactly. Yeah.
and we haven't seen her use it once, right?
Hmm. She
And
pulled it out
she
in the
pulled it
last
out, but
one.
She didn't use it, right? Like that's
No,
interesting.
because was it Officer Paul who shot and saved her?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because like she's there and they have this setup and they could have had a payoff with it and they kind of decided not to.
And
You know?
also, I forget who she was talking to, but they were telling her that she needs to be careful. And she goes, "Oh, I can be careful." And she
Hmm.
even told them what she had that she carries
Yeah.
that keeps her safe. So that's a really good
Yeah.
observation. Yeah.
And it's her mom's knife too. Her mom gave it to her.
Which was absent throughout her childhood, right?
Yeah, and then
Largely.
um, the other thing that I thought was interesting was when he goes to the house with that girl or to see her dad with Rich McAdams, to your
Oh,
dad,
okay. To the
and
commune?
he tells him that he tells Colin Farrell that his aura is so big it's filling the room.
Yeah, and it's black and green, right?
It's black and green, yeah. And after I heard that, I wanted to know what it meant because they didn't explain it in the
Oh,
show.
did you Google it?
Yeah, I googled it
Okay,
when I was
cool.
watching it when I was watching the TV show, and apparently black aura is. And this is from what I looked at, so don't take it as fact. But
Okay.
it's supposed to indicate like a long term like thing of where you can't forgive kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that apparently leads to health issues like not being able to forgive people. And then the green
A lot
is
of resentment.
apparently, yeah, and the green is supposed to be a healthy color, like that you're healthy, that your lungs are healthy, that your heart's healthy. And it's funny because you hear throughout the TV show that he has chest issues
Hmm.
and like he has problems with that stuff. And so I thought that's kind of interesting how it's contradicting that. I don't know. I
That
don't
is
know. I
funny.
don't know what to make of that really.
That is
But
funny. And I guess I'll get a little bit personal here, but
mm,
my sister does have one of those star books, I guess you could say.
mm-hmm.
And in these books, it's supposed to tell you like what your strengths are. And for my strengths
Mm-hmm.
is kidneys.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and obviously my kidneys are fucked. So,
Yeah, same here.
so yeah, we talk right about that. But I think that's
Yeah.
funny because kind of what it mirrors kind of what you said about Colin because that's supposed to be his strengths, and yet he's like kind of screwed over.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. It's really interesting. I think they have a lot of like little subtle nods and things
Yeah,
to who these people are, and
yeah.
they don't explain them. And I don't know if they're kind of counting on you to do that or for you to be interested to. Um,
I think that if we keep paying attention,
mm,
I think we'll figure it out. Like you said, it's a character study, and I'm kind of looking at it like an allegory. Like, yes, they do mean something.
yeah, and
That's the only reason why you would have so much character analysis.
mhm.
You know?
Yeah, and when we were talking about the first three episodes, and we were looking at the beginning scene of where Polly is taking the pill and Rachel McAdams is not satisfied.
Yeah.
Um, it's funny that in this episode they both put both of those little subplots to an end. She was with that guy, and that
Oh,
guy
yeah.
claimed that she was doing whatever, and so she
Uh-huh.
got suspended.
Yeah.
And she says it was only one night, so it wasn't that they were seeing each other; they were
Yeah.
dissatisfied. She just wasn't satisfied with her time with him,
Yeah.
and he took that kind of personally.
Yeah.
And he wanted more, but she didn't because I guess he took it the wrong way. And so she was never in a relationship, but I think that's really interesting because I thought too that she was having problems with this person or she wasn't
Yeah.
interested anymore. And I think it's kind of funny that those both started in the first episode and they both end in the fourth episode at the same time. There wasn't like a separate timeline between the two.
That's interesting. And also, you could argue that Colin Farrell's issue with the kid is sort of over for now because
Yeah, when he gives him the badge and everything like that.
that's a good point. I think that's a good point. On the side of Simeon,
Hmm.
I don't know how that correlates with him. I don't think it's supposed to. I don't know. All I know,
I think I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting that you say that. He's the only one that has had this unrelenting struggle the most out of all of them.
He
Like they're
keeps
all
having
trying to
it.
they're all trying to solve a case, and that's difficult. But he's the one actually going through the most, um, I guess, like trials and tribulations.
Yeah, he's
Like
trying to build this thing back up, and
yeah,
he's
he's
just
he's
hitting
he's the
dead
only
ends.
one. Yeah, he's hitting a bunch of dead ends, and Taylor Kitsch's character, he's going through some stuff right now, but before it kind of was just him trying to him just being, in the limelight from this media and stuff like that, and Rachel McAdams just trying to solve the case, and Officer Volcuro, Colin Farrell's character, kind of just dealing with the kid. But I think all of those are kind of they're not as big as Simeon's characters. He's kind of he has his back up against the wall, but he doesn't want to show it.
Yeah.
And I think it's really interesting. I'm starting to kind of wonder if he's even a bad guy in this TV series, or if he's just kind of somebody that's trying to get his own,
Yeah.
his own piece.
I was thinking of what you said last time, and you were saying how it's interesting that they're showing Simeon so early on, and then I was like, well, maybe he's gonna end up meaning more for this series. Like maybe
Yeah,
he's that he's that
he's kind of like the Matthew McConaughey of this
yeah.
series. Him seeing things, him having this like deep thoughts with himself, and
Because I am sympathetic to his issues. I think we both are.
yeah,
And, there's that relationship between him and Velcoro. So obviously I don't know how they would spin this, but, I could see how they could connect the dots to where, uh, Annie and Paul would somehow be on the bandwagon working with Colin and Simeon,
yeah,
Velcoro and Simeon,
and
somehow.
it's interesting because Simeon, he's doing everything that he said he would not want to do again, that he would never do. He's trying to run a legitimate business. In every single episode, we see him going back, almost relapsing step by step
Yeah.
into the former person he was, running a drug business again, at that what is it, a strip club or casino
Yeah.
or whatever, doing that, and then having to give up a certain percentage monthly. Like he's doing whatever he can, and I don't know, man. I think he's gonna hit a wall
Well,
eventually. He's gonna do something crazy, and I'm curious to see what that is, because as much of whenever they go to him, it's for some sort of, I don't want to say comedic relief, but like whenever he said that line about the teeth to that guy, or
yeah.
whenever he pulled out the teeth from the other person and saying like, I hate these fucking things, when he's talking about the grills
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Like it's kind of comedic relief, so that way you kind of say like, oh, you kind of giggle or whatever, like
Yeah.
you kind of side with him. And so I don't know. He's growing the most as a character, whether that be for better or for worse.
Well, this frustration that he has right now, I kind of feel that's why it might be kind of an allegory, because he might represent, s- you know, a way of thinking when it comes to business. But moving on with his character, maybe this will force him to think completely different on the next episode.
Yeah.
And maybe we think he's going to go a certain direction, but
Mhm.
you never. I I think he might totally turn this thing around, and that's where he starts working with Velcoro. And Velcoro, he's sobering up. He's giving him fatherly advice, even if
Yeah,
he's promoting alcoholism.
yeah. I mean, but he's becoming more of a. I don't want to say genuine, but
Yeah,
he's starting to keep in mind other people's like it's not about him. I think
yeah.
he's kind of the like one of the selfless characters
Mm-hmm.
in this show, where he's always trying to help
Yeah.
in some way, and I think Pizzolatto, the writer of the show, I think he's getting this really good balance between um, like talking about or like making you care kind of a little more
Mm-hmm.
about the characters, like keeping the cop drama and all of that. I think he kind of deserves some credit for that because before, like in the first season, it was layered with flashbacks, and you kind of
Yeah.
always had something to keep you interested, or there
Mm-hmm.
was always a subplot or something
Yeah.
to kind of pick apart. And with this one, it's a little bit more straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
You know what the mystery is, you know what you're trying to get to, but um, yeah, the way he's handling the plot advancement is interesting because before it was a sense of discovery. It was a sense of like them coming up to a place and going into the backyard of a random person's house that lives in that area and saying, "Oh, hey, look, here's the random statue that we found all over the place." Or kind of, it was more of a revealing type thing. And in this episode, the plot advancement is done through the characters
Yeah.
almost and their fuck ups, not so much as their discoveries.
Right. That's true. That's a good point. I mean, yeah. I mean, we'll just have to see what is what's next. It's like we
Yeah,
just have to wait to see where he takes it.
yeah,
Um, it's very interesting. I mean,
yeah.
I'm still
It's
gonna watch it. I'm
yeah,
still gonna watch
it's
it.
definitely more dialogue heavy this time around.
Yeah,
Uh, it's I mean it's still engaging. The
I'll
the
admit it.
I
Yeah.
think within the first 45 minutes or 50 minutes, or not 50 minutes, that's like the whole show. But like within the first like half hour or whatever, you kind of I think he's finding his stride. I think this is when we'll kind of either it'll get more interesting or it'll kind of just start to go in circles and
Unravel or something.
yeah, and you know kind of lose its sense of story. But yeah, we'll have to see. I think
Well,
I'm excited to watch the next one. So
we're on the first half, so this
Mhm.
is kind of where
The turning point.
I would hope so.
Yeah,
I would hope so. I'm really, really hoping that, because I, I think it's a good thing. I think the good thing about this series is that you really don't have a clue what's gonna happen next, and that's great. That's a
yeah,
great feeling.
it is. Yeah, it keeps you coming back. I think he's definitely going for this very noir vibe, and the way he's writing it, and the way that he's you kind of see in the cinematography, it's very noir. And even at the end of the episode with that freeze frame,
Yeah.
that's very, very 80s noir. And
Oh yeah.
so he's keeping the tone of that, and I respect that he's really following through with his vision,
Sticking
and
with
he's
it.
not
Yeah.
he's not kind of
Compromising.
compromising for what people might think, and it's very much him. And regardless of what we think, he's sticking with it, and I respect the shit out of that because it's something that is very difficult, and especially having to follow up your own
Success.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah, your own work and doing something completely different and sticking with it. I think that's very noble.
Yeah, I mean, I do love the way it looks. Like,
Yeah,
I think it looks awesome. And I can't help but, even though I feel at times kind of, I don't want to say bored, but I feel kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Mm,
like where you could pull out your phone and
yeah.
check something really quick and not feel like they're
Exactly.
missing anything.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't feel like as engaged as I should
Yeah.
be. I like to see these characters in this world, to walk around this world. I do like that. I do like
Yeah.
the way it's
It's a very different
photographed.
take on California crime, and that kind of area than I think we've seen before. It's a lot different. I think his most crime dramas that are set in California are in the city. They're
Yeah.
like, and this one they kind of go there and then they kind of leave and they go back to this small town, and I think that's what makes it very a lot darker and
And
interesting.
eerie.
Is because in Erie, because nobody likes those small towns. There's small towns like that where we are, and it's kind of like you just drive through them. You don't want to be there. You don't want to live there. And
Yeah.
it's interesting to see that side of the law enforcement.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up in a small town, and
Hmm.
I, I guess I can understand both. In movies, typically, I guess the small town is more frightening because it's the idea of somebody in the middle of nowhere losing all
Yeah.
humanity, right? That's the idea.
Yeah, and you know, it's the way that they depict it. It's you know, it's not like they're doing the. It's not like a bustling place. It's eerie in its own right because everybody there is kind of the way they depict the people that live there is probably different than they actually are, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
easier to do that because it's a small town. There's not a lot around. You know, you have a couple of really dark bars, and it just makes it easier because it's not as lifelike as other places, and so yeah. Every time they zoom out and they show that damn highway that I'm wanting to know if it fucking means anything more than a damn highway. But every time they zoom out and stuff like that, you see the lights and then you see where it kind of fades out, and you see how small of a place it is. You know?
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe they're just trying to make you feel small.
Yeah, yeah, possibly. Or I could just be reading too much into it, and they just didn't get enough B-roll in their shooting.
You would see. That's the thing. Is like we want something that is carefully planned out. It's
Yeah, and
it has
I did
ideas
that.
behind every little thing.
I did that. I did that in the first episode, man. I caught every little nod that the writer was putting in there, whether it be the black stars on the certain people that they were interviewing,
Yeah.
you know, all that stuff. I was paying attention because it was based on The King in Yellow, and I had read that book
Yeah.
in high school. One of my teachers, right? I've told this story to you before,
Yeah.
and
Well, for the people who haven't
yeah,
heard.
my English teacher recommended that I read this book because I didn't do any of the work in class. So he was like, "Well, if you're not gonna do any of the work, just you might as well like read some stuff since we're interested in the same things." And so I read a lot about like like existentialism and stuff like that. So he turned me onto this book, and it's insane when you're reading this that this the I can't think of the quote, but they say it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's Carcosa, Carcosa, Carcosa. This thing, and it's a whole verse that they say in the show, and it's written in certain places. It's supposed to make people go crazy. That's why it was written in before. It was this take on this whole kind of brainwashing thing, and so it's really interesting because everything in the book, or not the book, everything in this small passage, it's not very long. It's only like one couple pages, but this whole story is based off of that, and he creates this world around it, and it's really interesting to see that. And throughout the entire first season, there's little nods, little hints that tell you where it's going. At the end, where Rust looks at the statue that's there, that's the King in Yellow, and that's what it's normally depicted as. So it's pretty cool how he was doing that. And I don't know. Maybe he kind of didn't find anything that was super inspiring this time around. I think he kind of didn't want to base it off of anything. I think this is very much his own work, and
Yeah.
to his credit, it's still very compelling, and it's very interesting, and it takes a lot of talent to come up with all of
Oh yeah.
these story threads that kind of link out and
Yeah.
come together. And I think he's doing a really good job, and I think the other one just had a really good criteria, and that's why it's hard to follow up.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I kind of feel like there's a lot of things that are being said on this new series that are more like social commentary.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of feel like he uses these characters to voice his opinion about, you know, past generations and how they used to do things versus how they do them now. I
Yeah.
kind of feel like the guy who owns the club or the strip joint or whatever who had those teeth, I think he definitely had something to say about that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he really likes that type of culture. You know?
Yeah.
Why else would you be pulling out these teeth? Well, I kind of feel like that's his way of talking down about, well, not talking down, but kind of voicing his opinion, saying, this is where we're at right now, and I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel like there's a lot of different things that he's trying to say. Like maybe this whole sexual thing with this, all these odd sexual references, like maybe he's trying to say something there, trying to say
Yeah.
that we are all kind of surrounded by this and we don't even know it, which we are, and we're surrounded by that on TV shows and advertising and
Yeah.
kind of like everywhere we go, we can't escape a lot of sexual references. And
Yeah.
maybe that's what he's trying to say. I don't know. But I can tell that a lot of these characters and what they're going through and what they're talking about, to me, it reads a lot like conservatism, only because, a lot of these characters, well, Annie is definitely, her background is liberal, definitely. Born in a
Yeah, she's
commune
very I don't want to say she's full blown feminism, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of that in her. Like she says along like when they were accusing her of whatever, she said this would never happen
if it was a man.
if it was a man, whatever. And she kind of says that I don't know. It's one of those things where I feel
It makes
like
you think. Makes you
it would
think.
happen. It would happen regardless. Whether if it was a man or a woman, they would still be suspended.
Yeah, I
kinda
mean,
thing. I can't remember what her boss tells her, but he says like if the only difference is that if it was a man, then he says something I can't remember. I don't want to misquote him. But
if he was oh yeah, he does say something there, right?
yeah, I'll look it up. Don't worry. Keep going. What are you saying?
I forgot, but I mean that's why I started thinking like, well, you have all these, you have this social commentary going on throughout the series, which of course started with the e-cigarette, obviously.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense. Like he's using this to say a lot about the state of things right now, and that's why I feel like it has to be some sort of allegory. Like these guys are representations of something. Thank you for tuning in. That's our take on episode 4. Our comments on True Detective episodes 5 and 6 will be uploaded soon. Like us on Facebook.com/URUR. Comment, rate, and subscribe. Thanks again. Thumbs up.